Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, bringing you game number 2 of Group B of the 2004 Ever OSL. And if it's even possible, I feel like this VOD might be in worse shape than the other ones I've had. I apologize for that. I'm doing the best I can. I cannot find any better VODs, unfortunately. Still trying. There was an old torrent on Team Liquid that had some of these VODs. Still not in great shape. I think the VODs that were in the Team Liquid torrent are the ones that were uploaded to YouTube that I'm using to get my VODs now. But so they're a little bit lower quality. But in any case, apologies for that. But you know, these games are from 2004. It's the best we can do. In any case, this is a match between Reach and Goodfriend. And Reach is our Protoss hero down here at the bottom left of the map. He sent out a very early probe. Are we going to see some proxy 2-gate action? Are you pulling a cheeky proxy, Reach? He's playing against Goodfriend real quick because this might get it some action power. Oh, it might just be a really early scout, I guess. Never mind. No proxy. I didn't see how many probes he had. So I may have miscounted and thought he sent out a probe earlier than I thought. He may have also been trying to get into Goodfriend's base to get a scout in before that barracks block things. That might have been his strategy as well, but he was not able to. So Reach, there's only 3 Protoss in this OSL, and I think if any of them were the Protoss hero, it's going to be Reach. He is on top of his game at this point in his career, and you know, there's this thing in the OSL called the Legend of the Fall. If you haven't heard of the Legend of the Fall, I forget, it was 2000, 2001, Boxer was winning everything, and Garimto, the Protoss player, beat him in the finals in the fall. And then Boxer had won the OSL, and he was going for triple back-to-back OSL wins, and Reach, the hero toss, beat him in the fall. And so it became this legend that, you know, Protoss players will win the OSL in the fall. And guess when this is being played, ladies and gentlemen? This is being played in, I believe, actually I don't know when this exact game is being played, but this tournament is being played in the fall. So this is like potentially the fates are backing Reach for this, and there's only 3 Protoss players, so you know, if it's going to be a Protoss that's going to fulfill the Legend of the Fall again, it could very well be Reach. Of course, you know, the other Protoss players are very good also. Well, I mean, we've already seen one of them go down. The Rock has already been eliminated, but you know, there's still, oh crap, why am I blanking on the other Protoss player? I'll come back to it in a minute. Kingdom, that's right. Kingdom is also in this. Kingdom also a very strong player at this point in time. So, in any case, point being, Reach, good. Reach, Mantos, Reach, good. Goodfriend, on the other hand, though, he probably is not necessarily favored in the whole tournament, but he actually is someone to luck out for in this group, I would say. He's been playing really well at this point. He's actually coming off of 4th place placements in the last 2 MSLs before this. He's relatively new to the scene. He was in the OSL before this, actually, and he qualified directly into the round of 16 because he was in the, into the dual tournament because he was in the round of 16 of the previous OSL. So if you're top 3 in the previous OSL, you get a seed directly into the round of 16, and then there's 13 that come up from the dual tournament, so that's kind of how that works. It's a crazy system. But in any case, so Goodfriend, very, very solid Terran player here as well. So we'll have to see if he can be one of the successful Terrans in this group stage. In any case, Reach running across the map here with a Dragoon to just do some harassment on this barracks. The barracks is like, I am made of hit points. You cannot phase me, and it's just gonna sit there and take it. He's making an upgrade here at the factory. I'm actually curious to see what that is. If it's maybe siege tech, and we're going to see a tank pop out soon in order to fend off these tanks. We saw a building there. There's the tank out now. I saw a building up behind Goodfriend's main there, and I didn't actually catch what it was. I think it might have been shown on the screen, but I missed it or I've forgotten it. So it may be another command center, quick command center. Oh, it's a starport. Okay, okay, we're talking now. Reach has taken his back expansion. If you guys remember, this is the map that has an expansion behind your main and then a choke point in front of it. But then there's these long land routes on the left and right sides of the map. So you can actually go around. If you want to take your time and go way, way around, you can actually go to the back door of the main and go in and get an extra scout or something like that. There is a vulture out as well. So I'm actually now leaning towards that, the research at the factory being spider mines, because we're probably going to see well, no, actually it was siege mode, and now we're probably going to see spider mines as the second upgrade that we're seeing now as well, because we're going to see a drop, and looks like he's going to probably drop 1 tank and 2 vultures. And again, this map has crazy spots on high ground locations that are going to make it difficult to deal with drops that can go up there quickly and effectively and use the terrain to their advantage. Reach has his expansion going here, and it looks like he's actually sending some dragoons all the way around in order to try and get a scout and see what's going on. It looks like I think he's sending one of his dragoons all the way around the right side. And oh my gosh, this VOD is terrible. I'm so sorry. I'll see if I can maybe even get a better version of this VOD before I actually upload it to YouTube. I'll see if I can somehow track it down, or like see if maybe I downloaded this from YouTube incorrectly. Anyways, there's the drop that we're talking about. Planting down mines in order to protect the tank, so the dragoons can't go up and hit the tank. He's actually gonna just run the dragoon right in. Oh, and I don't know if I don't think the splash damage. It's actually hard for me to tell if the splash damage actually hit the tank. I don't think it did, but it at least cleared out both the mines and the vulture. So these 3 dragoons left can come in and finish off that tank. So very minimal damage done. Oh, there's another vulture that ran actually all the way through the base, all the way up into the back. Or maybe it was just dropped off with the dropship there. I'm not sure. I didn't see what happened to it. I thought I saw it running off to the right. But in any case, look at this. There's a depot over here blocking the path. There's a tank there in order to hit anything hitting the depot. But it's not within range. And he's not moving the tank for some reason. So instead, he's just going to put some mines over there. So that's cool. And now that Dragoon has finished it off, is going to run in. Takes out 1 mine before the tank polishes it off. And we have Dark Templars out on the map now as well. And there's turrets in a lot of locations for Goodfriend. He's got 1 in his main. He's got 1 that almost completed his choke. He's got 1 at the back door as well. But no comm scan, no comsat scan. So these DTs are going to be something that he's going to have to worry about out on the map. But it looks like they're not going to be able to sneak in and do any damage, even if he goes around the back side of the map. And we're seeing the robotics facility now as well. Going down, so both players need a little bit of work on their detection. The robotics facility, of course, is going to lead into the observatory, which will enable him to actually move out on the map. Otherwise, he has to worry about mines on the map, and those can be extremely tricky to deal with without detection. Not impossible. Not impossible. Actually, you know what? I've seen people micro with dragoons by stutter stepping to kill off the mines before they actually hit the dragoons. He wasn't trying in that situation, but actually, I wonder. I think stutter stepping against mines had already been kind of like figured out by this point in time in 2004. It's funny because, like, you know, we saw in the last game with Yellow, he had all of his mutalisks just kind of as a big flock flying all over the place because clumping mutalisks had not been invented yet, or had not been discovered yet, I guess I should say. And here we go. This Dark Templar is going to try and sneak in. Is it going to get within range of the? Yes, it is. It's going to get within range of the turret and the mine. And it's actually going to take some shots at that tank. It actually kills off the tank and the Marine. Whoa, that DT. That was a Mantos DT right there. Ran in, took on the mine, and then took on the tank as well. Only the single Marine could hit it, though. So that one Marine just was not able to power down that DT quickly enough by itself to actually stop it from killing off the tank. So pretty cool. Pretty good job done by that Dark Templar. Observers are going to be coming out for Reach pretty soon as well, so not going to have to worry about those mines for too much longer. Goodfriend has got a turret and another tank in his main. He's playing very defensively. It's a very wise decision to make when you know there's DTs on the map, or when you suspect they might be at some point. And what happened here? Did he run something over and kill the mine that was blocking his nexus? It looks like it. I thought there was a mine blocking the nexus earlier. But in any case, he's actually gotten a shuttle out. He's going to try and drop these Dark Templars, and he says, all right, well, I can't just run them in Normally, I'm going to see if I can do a drop on the top. And, you know, again, he may expect there to be turrets and defenses against this already set up. But at the very least, what he's doing is he's putting pressure on the Terran player and saying, you know what, if you leave with all your forces to come attack me, these DTs are going to sneak in the back and they're going to do some damage. So he is flying across the map with this shuttle. I believe it has 2 Dark Templars and a Dragoon in it, hovering above that ridge, spotting from above it so he doesn't see it yet. And here he comes in with the drop, and Goodfriend sees it. The turret pushes him back. And did he even drop anything? It looks like he didn't drop anything out of that shuttle. Here we have very, very low quality first-person view from Goodfriend here. It looks like Goodfriend is pushing out onto the map now. I don't know if he has comm scanners now or something like that, but he feels confident pushing out, even though there's DTs on the map. Of course, vultures can just outrun them in the short term, so it's not too big of a deal. And he's got 2 dropships as well, so he's pushing out along the top with 2 dropships. The Dragoons are there, and he spots it and pushes that drop back. That could have been devastating for either player, actually, because if those 2 dropships died with the forces in them, if he'd held the Dragoons back like a little bit and then run in and collapsed on them when they were in a vulnerable position, he could have done a ton of damage by just killing off a lot of units for free as they were in the dropship. But it could have gone the other way as well. If those Dragoons were not there to block and he'd gotten those vultures in and planted down mines and started killing probes, that would have been pretty terrible. Dark Templars still trying to run in, peek around, see if they can do any damage, but no damage dealt. So both players trying to do some harassment and not really being effective at them. Here we come in, though. Some tanks dropping on the high ground. Vultures running in the low ground. This is the 3rd base, by the way, for Reach, which is up north, and it's really difficult to defend against that high ground. Of course, you can put your own units up on the high ground. There's a ramp that you can just run up there, and he's actually going to take these shuttles and drop on top of those tanks. The vultures have actually run up to accompany the tanks now. And he's going to drop zealots on top of the tanks. He's going to take out 2 of them. 3 of them. Is he going to take out the... He does take out the last one as well. The vultures clean up. Actually, they're just going to retreat from some of those zealots, interestingly enough. Instead of picking them off, maybe afraid of the Dragoons. Okay, so interesting situation right now. I recorded this game, and then the VOD effed up like partway through, and then I found a new VOD, and I picked up where I left off to finish recording the game. And then it turns out I did my math wrong on where the VOD was, and so I went to process the video, and there's a chunk in the middle that's missing. So here I am, just recording an extra minute of commentary to stick in the middle so it's not silent. Sorry for the hiccups on all this, but I've even actually messed up a couple times trying to record this middle section as well because of stupid math. So in any case, apologies about that, and apologies about a little bit of rambling in the middle. And I think I may even cut the rambling that I put on the end off of it that describes this as well, since I'm describing it now. So I think the cut point is in a few seconds. Hopefully after this it should be relatively fine. And there we have some vultures running in here to do some very significant harassment, and actually going into the 4th base as well at the same time, which I don't think he even knew that was there because he kind of ran right by it and goes over to the 3rd, but the 3rd is where the probes are, so it's a better spot to go regardless. And well, maybe he knew there was no probes there, I suppose. Taking out lots of probes in both locations and doing significant damage. Remember, even if you lose a lot of vultures, if you can kill almost equal number of probes, it's worth it. And Reach is on the counterattack, though, and this is very interesting. He has 2 shuttles pushing across the map. Are they going to stay with his army and be a drop force, or are they going to be a separate harassment force? Well, it looks like he's actually not moving out. He's just kind of repositioning out in front of his 4th base, getting in position to maybe stop this army as it comes across those bridges. It's the perfect spot to attack, but not when they're on the bridges, because then the tanks are very well protected by the bridges. So he's going to have to fall back there, loses some zealots. The comm scan goes off just to see what's there. Okay, what's on the other side of this? Am I safe enough to actually go into this crucial spot? If he's on one side of the bridge, he's good. If he's on the other side of the bridge, he's good. If he's in the middle of the bridge and Reach counterattacks, then he's going to be losing all of his forces. And actually, Reach doesn't have enough to push it, and Reach thinks so. Both players think so. So Goodfriend's going to actually go ahead and move across the bridges onto the other side and take up shop there. He's now pushing tanks forward slowly. The shuttles are there to drop zealots on top. Huge zealot bombs on top of the tanks. The tanks are not very well defended. The vultures are actually on the front. They're not killing off the zealots very effectively, but they are pushing back the dragoons, so the dragoons can't get too close. And at the end of it all, most of the tanks are killed, but a few remain. A couple reinforced. Actually, no, those ones at the bottom did survive too. I thought they were going to die in the background when we weren't looking. And he's actually pushing forward even farther. So Reach is being pushed farther and farther back. Away from that location. It looks like he's probably going to lose his 4th base. Here comes the shuttles going in for maybe another bomb, or maybe just to be a mockery and just kind of convince him that he's going to do something tricky. Try and pull him back away. I mean, they're running past as if maybe they're going to go do a drop, and he's like, you need to bring your vultures back to deal with this drop or something like that. And but either way, he's going to get this base. Down it goes. And in the meantime, Goodfriend has taken the 3rd base as well, it looks like. So very, very strong position for Goodfriend here, but Reach is not quite out of it yet. Not yet. He could be very soon, though, because Goodfriend is not done. He's pushing out into the choke point, kind of outside that 3rd. If he can get himself into that choke point and occupy that spot, then Reach is finished. And Reach is, I don't know what he's doing here, actually dropping free zealots, I guess, out. Now he waits for him to siege up. He's going in. He's going to try and drop a lot of zealots on top of those tanks. This time while they're sieged up, and zealots charging in the front as well are going to soak up a lot of damage. It looks like Reach might have the forces to break through this time with mostly zealots, and the vultures are not enough to stop the zealots this time. The zealots killing all of the tanks that were dropped on by the shuttles. He is going to get forced back, though. Just a few vultures remain, and a couple extra reinforcement tanks are enough to push him back into this choke point. Can Reach push this out? There's not very many vultures left. There's only, well, there's actually 5 or 6 left, and oh, he does a mind drag onto the tanks. Oh, wow, that was huge, and kills off a couple of the tanks. That actually was something that Reach might have been able to use to get back in this game. He's still in a horrible position, though. And he's doing more drops here. At least Goodfriend has had I think there was some mines there that he actually killed off to make sure that he couldn't do another mine drag there. Because, you know what? If you can get a large explosion with just one zealot, that's like better than an infested Tarian in a way. So it's very, very effective, and he doesn't want to, if he loses those 3 other tanks to another mine drag explosion, then it's going to be horrible. And more mines going down. It looks like Goodfriend has had to retreat out of that choke. He's retreated from that choke point. Whoa, that is a ton of vultures going up to nowhere for the moment. They're going to go around the top, it looks like, and try and go around and harass. And, I mean, Reach has lost so much economy. Looks like there's a decent amount of probes at that 2nd base, but hold that thought. The vultures have run back to rejoin the army to protect these tanks. There's only 1 tank left, and he picks it off. He picks it off, but there's actually just too many vultures. There's too many vultures. Psystorms are having to say something about that, though, and he's going to storm a lot of the vultures, but the vultures are enough to just brute force those dragoons, and now he's pushing in with a huge force of vultures. The reinforcements of Reach might be enough to push those vultures back out, though. It's just an absolute tug of war in this game, and there's carriers. I don't remember if I saw those before. I was losing my mind earlier, and may not have spotted them. I have no freaking clue. So anyway, there's carriers now. So we'll just move on as if that's normal, that there's carriers. And that might be why Reach was a little bit low on forces there and just barely scrambling to stay in there. And if he'd had 2 Stargates and a Fleet Beacon, 2 carriers worth of units on the ground, he would have been able to dominate the ground a lot easier, but instead he's got carriers. But he did hold on. He did hold on with the units he had, and now he's pushing out with these carriers, and the carriers are obviously going to be super effective. I don't believe there's too many Goliaths out. Yeah, we're just seeing a handful of Goliaths there. More carriers are being produced, but Reach has pushed out of that choke, and he's... Oh no, the Goliaths are targeting down the carrier. It looks like takes all the shields on one, but not enough. And actually, the Zealots are running in to take the charge. Psystorm drop down out right in the middle. He's just like, I'm going to store a storm drop right in front of you. He even manages to merge the Archon at the same time, and he takes out all of the tanks. He takes out everything. Goodfriend is forced back. That's just absolutely amazing. Spending a lot of money on Goliaths, That gas going to the Goliath is not going to extra tanks. He didn't have very many vultures to follow up, and just the sheer forces of Reach are able to push out and demolish him. Goodfriend is trying to hold the other side of those bridges, though. Can he hold it? No, he's going to have to fall back again. That would have been the last advantageous position he had to try and hold on to that position on the far side of the bridge to keep Reach from pushing back. But now Reach has pushed over those bridges and is now in Goodfriend's side of the map and is counterattacking and doing lots of damage. There's enough Goliaths there. Oh, and that one, I think it was the carrier. I actually, with this VOD quality, I cannot even see the shield point bars, and I cannot see the hit point numbers when they're clicking on it. So I don't know if that was the one that that lost the shields earlier. But either way, he does polish off one carrier. Two more are going to be joining very, very soon. Yeah, there they are. But in the meantime, taking out a single carrier is actually pretty huge. Because, you know, the difference between winning and losing is 3 carriers versus 6 carriers, you know? And if you can, 3 carriers, that's not very many units to kill off. If you can kill off 1, that's a very significant amount of carriers. So in any case, we're doing a lot of complex mathematical calculations in this group stage, in this group B. In any case, yeah, so Goodfriend's been pushed back. Goodfriend has 3 bases still. It looks like he's mining at 2, although one of them is about to be mined out. Reach is retaking his 4th base. And if he can manage to keep this map control long enough to get that 4th base up and running and then start utilizing the economy from it, it'll be huge. But Reach is going down around the south of the map with his units to try and do a counterattack, to trying to do an attack on Goodfriend's 4th. And instead, I'm sorry, Goodfriend's 3rd, and instead his 3rd is going to get countered, and he's let Goodfriend just walk right onto his side of the map and set up shop with a seized up position. There's now more High Templar on the map, though. If he can get some good storms off on those groups of Goliaths, he can thin them out enough for the carriers to be able to stand a good chance. But Reach just doesn't have a lot of ground forces. He's going to maybe try and do a sandwich here. He's going to try and come from both sides. He's going to get a reinforcement ground units from the left. He's going to get his forces from the right. He's actually pushing in over the right and trying to divide and conquer, trying to attack these units that are vulnerable so that they cannot go and reinforce and join up. And the Templar are running right and forward. He can kill all the Templar very easily if he wants to. Storm's going off, though. He ignores the Templar, joins straight for the carriers. No, he's not even targeting the carriers down very well. He does get one carrier, actually, but the Dragoons are just taking easy shots excuse me, against all of the Goliaths, and the Goliaths just I mean, what are they going to do? I don't think they really had another choice, but they just got tunnel vision and went straight for the carriers, and in the meantime the ground forces did a lot of damage. And how are these High Templars still alive? They were free kills, and instead they're still alive, just walking into the natural expansion here. Things have turned around so quickly. It was Goodfriend occupying the choke point outside of Reach's natural just feels like moments ago, and now Reach is marching in and morphing Archons in Goodfriend's natural, taking out his factories. Are we going to see GG any moment now? We may just see that because there's the, yeah, that's, you can see it on his face before we see it on the screen. There's the GG from Goodfriend. Yeah, we don't even get to see it on the screen, but we know that that's what happened. Reach, oh my god, the man toss. Reach is a legend for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. I mean, so many Protosses having a Terran player just camping out with tanks and vultures and mines right outside of their choke point. You know, having just killed off their 4th, going for their natural expansion, out expanding them on the map, having more forces on the map as well. Most Protoss lose in that position, I'm pretty sure. And Reach was just like, you know what? I'm going to go for carriers. I don't give a gosh darn. And he just got some carriers and came back out and ended up winning the game. And I was a little bit, that was a really, really interesting situation where there was like a base trade going on where like Reach was like, I'm going to sneak around down the south of the map. And then Goodfriend is like, oh, well, I'm going to run my giant mech force across the middle now because you're not in position. And then Reach went for the counter, but instead of going for the base trade, Goodfriend tried to fall back. But the Terran is best when they're sieged up and they're defending a position. They want to push out slowly, take a position, and defend it. Push out slowly, take a position, and defend it, and just creep out slowly. attack moving back towards your own base is not what you want to do. I mean, obviously, Goodfriend is even in 2004 is 100 times the player that I am, but I have to wonder if maybe just going for the base trade might have been a better call in that position, just because it was at such a disadvantage running backwards towards the carriers. Maybe he knew that he was going to lose the base trade. I don't know, but crazy stuff there. And again, you know what? I think it might even come down to, I think the entire game might have been changed with that one mind drag. That one mind drag that, if I remember correctly, it killed 2 tanks, maybe 3, a couple vultures. And you know, the difference between 6 tanks outside your natural and 3 is, again, we're doing some complex mathematics here today, ladies and gentlemen. That's approximately double. 6 is about twice 3. And so, it's a really big difference. I mean, with tanks, you kind of need a crucial mass to critical mass in order to just kill everything before it gets close. And by taking out half of his tanks there, he didn't have that critical mass anymore. And so Reach was able to push out and slowly push that force back. I think that if those mines had not been that location, I think Goodfriend wins that game. Honestly, it was that close. So anyways, exciting game. Hope you guys enjoyed it.